thousand years ago as a child, but the government of the universe has yet to be placed on his shoulders. This will happen at his coronation as King of Kings in the millennium. Now, when I read this, what was standing out for me, what was really um, speaking to me, was how those children came into that church, and as a result, everything else started to happen. And you know, for whatever's been going on with them and how they've been, um, going back and forth between their father and their grandmother, I think that has been, you know, probably trying on all of them. So they came uh, to us, um, and because of them, other people came for us. And we have some people that are showing some engagement and some that are not. Um, but I figure if we can get back to what drew them in the first place is everybody's looking for something, you know, um, whether it's from selfish motives or not doesn't matter. What we what we got to be able to communicate is that it's in God. Everything they looking for is in God, and that is the good news that it's not. It may not look like you want it to look, but God gonna provide what you need, so that you feel uh, fulfilled. You feel His power. I was reading an article today that said that small churches, what they have in common is that small churches put an emphasis on worship. They put an emphasis on the reason we come together is for worship. It's not, you know, um, it's not to see what somebody wearing or be this person or have this title or anything like that. It's about the worship. And they don't, they're not ashamed of their smaller size. They embrace it. And because they embrace it, it builds the community that most people lack, because they go about their lives as individuals or small pockets. We really don't communicate with each other. We don't talk to one another. We don't get real with one another, and we lose that community, which was so vital, you know, for the church's growth, for the church's um, beginnings. People came together because that's what it was. Nobody was without because everybody brought something into the pot. It was like, and if we in that community where the water is a problem, where the housing is a problem, where the you know did they get the police department back yet?
I'm not sure. I know the last meeting that I was to, the sheriff and I guess his right hand man was to the meeting, and they had set some cameras up. They had increased their monitoring in the
Mm-hmm.
area, and the police department seemed to be, cooperating with them and doing, what they could to help to cut down on the violence and stuff back there.
Right.
And they said they were always willing, any problem that they had, they was always willing to meet with them, to
Mm-hmm.
see what they could do to help out.
So the Ridgely police ain't they're
Oh no,
not
the
even
resident, this is the sheriff's department I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah.
police, no, they don't have them back. They won't be back, not this year.
Mm,
Might not be back forever. Maybe when this situation where the sheriff department handle the town situation.
wow. And those are types of things that you know people, do they know what happened? Do they understand what happened? And how are we, you know, how is that information getting disseminated? How do people know what's really going on? And part of part of our job is to give people some sense of stability, that they know, if I go here, what I can expect. I can expect some worship. I can expect some community. I can expect, um, you know, those things that will allow me to contribute to my own well-being through helping others. And I was so amazed at how much was collected for those homeless shelters. Um, all of that stuff that people were able to bring in. Um, that was tremendous, and I'm so glad that a couple of them showed up. Did they ever get the stuff to um, Caroline County?
Now I think they were going to divide that up between the two shelters that were there. Caroline County and Kent County didn't show.
Mm, 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 mm. You know that's another thing, and those are elements of the community. But for whatever reason, I think it was you told me y'all had something before and they didn't show up.
Yeah, we had dinner for them one time, Thanksgiving time, and they didn't show. But I'm surprised that I don't know if they've changed leaders over at the Caroline shelter or not, because the lady that was there, she used to come. Now it could be a change in personnel. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's possible. That's possible. That's possible. And all of this comes back to where, when we talk about getting fulfilled, and we talk about those three C's, and part of how we look at this, how we handle this, what we find important about this has to be something more than you know just what we can get for ourselves. They were talking about they had to go to court for them people down there in Day Springs, but their instructions were to set up an escrow account. But people ain't just gonna go and set up an escrow account to put their rent in every month when money don't add up anyway. They gonna spend that money.
Yeah,
They gonna spend that money. Um, those are the type of things that you know somehow we've got to show them that there's a better way. I don't know if we start talking about financial just literacy and things like that. Those are some of the things that it's possible, God willing, that we can make an impact on that community. I know that part of what is happening, I know at least in my spirit, is that I'm seeing people come, and that reminds me, I got to get that brother's number from you. I want to give him a call this week before Sunday. Um, uh, and when I seen them coming to the church, was them all his children?
Oh, Jason, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was amazing. That was amazing. Um, that felt really good. And then the second service, where Reverend Stacy just tore the house down. It was packed. It was packed, and I was like, I took pictures of that. I was like, look at all these folks up in here. That was wonderful. That was
Yes,
wonderful. Yes,
Jason
ma'am.
had two businesses in there.
He told me he was he got the driving school and he got a barber shop.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Hmm.
a lot of times they work on. I think they only off from the driving school one Sunday out of a month,
Yeah,
and
he's
he
told
was
me.
saying,
He said this new year they was gonna take at least the first Sunday off. So, I said, even if, you ain't here every Sunday, you know, you've been supporting the church, you might as well make a home, So I definitely want to talk to him. Uh, uh, that type of energy, young, vibrant energy is what we need. And if folks see other folks, they just might, something might be going on over there and come and see. So all of these things I believe um, started with us recognizing the gifts that we had and equating it to the children was just, it seemed um, a natural idea because Jesus told us, unless you come to me as a child, we got to come trusting, we got to come willing, we got to come open, um, not as they say, not so skeptical. Don't have to put the skepticals on. We but that requires trust. So, you know, the gift of knowing who God is, um, knowing who Christ is, this is the season of epiphany, right? And epiphany is when, something comes to you, something you recognize, something happens. When we were saved, there was an epiphany that we knew we were sinners and that we couldn't save ourselves, that Jesus was Lord. Those are epiphanies. And as the theological teaching is that the magi, the three wise men, had an epiphany, didn't know where they were going, but they were following this star. You know, uh, they were following this star and was able to find Christ. And there's got to be something that's going to catch the folks' attention, that's going to come and bring them not knowing where the destination is, but coming to find Christ. And I'm praying on this for this year that we're able uh, to let some light shine somewhere so that folks will start coming back. And I believe we've been laying the foundation for that. I do truly, truly believe that. So I know y'all have seen this come and y'all have seen this go. Y'all been around this. Y'all know what is it when the church was vibrant? What was happening? And I know COVID changed a lot of things, but what was happening in the church that drew people?
well, Trinity. I'm going to say at one time we had some young, well, I'll say from teenagers on up. But what
Mhm.
happened? The kids grew up and they
Moved out.
moved away.
Mhm.
And one of the downfalls that I found in Trinity since I've been there, we've never really had a good musician. We've always had somebody that could either be only played by music or some only played by ear. And
Mhm.
if you don't have that music, it's hard to keep young people. I mean, sometimes the older people are put up with it because you know you can't do nothing about it. But the younger folks, if you don't have good music, they're not going to stay around long. That's one thing I found out.
I believe that too. I believe that too. So you know, the question would be, you know, musicians. I know the musicians over here charge a lot of money.
Yeah, right. And
You know,
most of the churches on the shore now, if they don't have a member
right.
that's part of that, if a person is a member there, they may get by, not paying a whole lot. And don't many churches on the shore have members that are musicians. Now, at one time, Reverend Jeter, she had a great musicians and singers. But what
Mhm.
happened? The guys got old. A couple of the guys died,
Mhm.
and some of the ladies in the group died. People move away. Now, just like when we had the watch service at her church this past year,
Mhm.
previous years, I mean, they would have a great choir there. The guys be there playing the drums, the keyboards, the guitars. A lot of those guys are gone now, and that's the first time I've been to Reverend Jeter's watch night service where she didn't have a musician. I know one guy that still plays for his set. He don't come out much, and I don't know where the other guy was. But and then now, and as far as Trinity membership wise, of the churches in that, well, you had Trinity and you had New Beginnings, the church down the road.
Mhm.
Trinity was always the smaller church as far as membership,
Mhm.
but the older folks, they would work and they support the church. Well, the younger folks, they don't want to work and they don't want to support the church either. So, it's, and like I say, young people come and 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 I guess you can look at that two ways. Sometimes young people come in, and if you want to put them at work, sometimes it turns some of them off and it
Right.
drive them away.
Right.
But then sometimes they come and they don't stay long enough for you to give them something to do. You just, and I don't think a person should just come in and just join it and right away you got them doing this and doing
Right.
that. They need to
Right.
learn something about,
What they joining?
yeah.
Mhm. So
But a
that's
lot of the people, now it's people back there that are not church, but a lot
right.
of the people back there are also belong to churches in other
Mhm.
towns.
Mhm. They traveling for church.
Yeah, you got members back there from Robinson down in Graysonville. You got members back there from Allen, not that far
Mhm.
away. You
Mhm.
got members there from New Beginnings, and those people they go back to their church. Now I know one lady that lives she don't live back there, but she lives in Risley, and her church is over in uh, in Queen Anne's County. Yeah, we had some occasions during the winter when the weather was bad. A couple of Sundays she would come and have service with us instead of driving, all the way to her
Mhm.
church. But once the weather good, She's going back home.
Right. Right.
So, Pastor, you were talking about the scripture and saying how we all come looking for something and that we need to come to Christ as a child. And so the easiest way to keep a child's attention is to offer them the treat. And
Hmm.
so when you offer them the treat, they're more likely to work with you. And I don't think that as we become adults, that changes a whole lot. We by the time we become adults, it's really what's in it for me. And
Yeah.
so the the goal has to be to show the benefits, to demonstrate the benefit of relationship with this child, a relationship with baby Jesus, with relationship with adult Jesus. The Magi went looking um, for the prophecy that was supposed to have been fulfilled through this child. And so, as we're talking about how to grow the church, how to keep or grow faithful members, I wonder, I know that the folks on this call understand the benefit of relationship with Christ, but I just wonder how much we can share beyond that. I wonder if we have decided to be enthusiastic about our denomination and why we chose our denomination. What's great about being AME? What's great about being Christian? There came a time, and I can't exactly explain it when it happened or um, what specifically happened, but there came a time where became a requirement. It wasn't optional for me in my adulthood. Um, and so something clicked, and I made up in my mind that it was better for me to make sure that I found myself in worship weekly. Since then, there's come a time where I need to find myself in Bible study weekly because that once a week thing is not enough. And
Right.
so what we have talked about in Board of Examiners, and I think what we're talking about here is creating an appetite to pursue discipleship. But beyond discipleship, why do we choose the AME church? So it's both and at the same time. So where's the appetite for Christ is really the question we need to be asking, and what can we do to induce or incite that?
One of the things that I know we were discussing is Sunday school again, which require that we leave the house 8 o'clock on Sunday. But and Lord forgive me, because the truth be told, the hardest thing is to come, and we can't get an amen out of somebody. You can't um and to you know but we're going to have to do this because it's going to be important that they need to know why and what this is. This is not just you know um some storefront church that popped up when you know deacon so and so wanted wanted more wanted more accolades. It ain't about that. This is a historical church. This is an historical community, and AME have been here when what nobody else here. So I I believe, Lord, help strengthen me that we gonna have to be there, um, on Sunday morning for Sunday school. And I don't know if we, you know, doing Bob Evans breakfast sandwiches or what to get them in to give them the treat. Um, I don't know, but we need to do something because my wife asked me. She says, if Elder said, "Do you want to go somewhere else?" and I'm like, every place I look at ain't necessarily better than where we at. And I don't never listen. Some of the folks over here on this side of the bay is struggling. They struggling bad, So I don't want to be in a worse situation, you know. God got me here for a reason, for something, and I want to make sure that I'm doing what He want me to do, you know. Um, but we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to figure something out so that we can be there Sunday mornings, uh, you know, uh, 9:30 to 10:30, and giving them something uh, that's valuable. You know, if that means, you know, talking to Miss Sandy and see what kind of arrangements we can come to. But therein lies another issue. We come a day or two, we got an 80-pound dog
Oh, that's right.
and a boy that would love for us to be gone, be gone. Now I don't know if she likes dogs. You know, the cats is self-sufficient.
Well, now small dogs, yeah, because Reverend Goji, she had a small dog, but she didn't have no big enough like what you got.
Well, he's house trained and all of that. We don't have to worry about that. But
It's just a
you
big
know,
baby.
he's just a baby. He's just a baby. Uh, but he's a good dog. But we can't leave him here for 2 days.
No.
We had to buy a new door with a doggy door in it. And he's still going to go to the other door and scratch on the door like we supposed to go and let him out. I said, boy, I just bought the whole door for you. go go walk your butt upstairs and walk out the doggy door. He don't want to listen. I believe he be in here, but when we gone, he be in here and he wait till we come back. He still waits till we come back. But that's something we'd have to talk to her about because I can't leave that boy here by himself. At least not yet.
You
You know.
realize he's on the Zoom, right?
Yes,
Okay, just checking.
yes. He know. He
Okay.
know what I think.
Hmm.
Not that he gonna do nothing wrong. That's not. But I need him to get some of this treat
Yeah.
that we offering the young folks so that they recognize that this is I need this. It's
Mhm.
important that I know what AME is really about. That I'm not here just because I have to be here, but I'm here because I want to be here. I'm getting something out of it. And that's what I really, really, really want.
And
Be able to get something out of it.
Colin is actually churched enough to teach a young Bible
Yes,
study, a
he
young
is.
Sunday
Yes,
school.
he is.
And
I know it.
so the the thing about it is that there's gifts that are not necessarily being developed because we're not in the situation where you're being put in the position to, if we called on Mrs. Flamer to sing a hymn, I know she knows all the hymns. I know she could teach us some of them hymns. But
Hmm.
if we don't,
I
what
have
you say?
CDs with all the old hymns if you want.
What what's that, ma'am?
You got CDs. Play
There's
this one.
I
we
got
want
over
the
200 CDs with the oldies but goodies.
we want it to come from you though, ma'am. That's you
Look,
the
If I
gift is in you.
if I
I was
start
thinking about
singing,
that too.
if I start singing, you would never have nobody come to the church.
Look, you ain't the only one.
I
I was thinking about getting some good speakers. Look, and we just start blasting music on the corner on Sunday, so they know we up in here.
I mean,
Um,
there's something to be said about having outdoor audio,
hmm
because the people in the neighborhood could hear it and say, "Oh, what's happening over there?"
Yeah.
Um, but we just have to do what we can to make it a more universally appealing place
Inviting, yes,
for people to
inviting.
want to just stop in and see what's going on a Sunday morning. And they know they're not doing anything else.
Right, right. Walking by.
Mhm. Slow.
Hmm. Hmm. Because they ain't got nowhere to go.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going out here to the gas station store.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well just stop on in. See what
Mm-hmm.
oh, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah, so I know that it's gonna take the commitment to build the community so that we can contribute to it. So, those are the three C's I've been talking about. And I wanted to take some time and I want to recognize these children. And I was glad some children showed up for that message. 'Cause the ones that I had reached out to didn't show up. Uh, but I, I'm not deterred though. I'm not deterred. And we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to make it over there to the mother-in-law's, the grandmother's house, and knock on the door and just introduce myself.
Pastor Lent is coming. It'll be here before we know it. And I was just wondering if you felt like we're looking forward to Lent uh for this body. If you felt like we did some growing last year, or what
I
you're
do
looking
feel like
forward
we
to,
did. I
or
do
what you're
feel
looking
I
forward to
did.
for this year, this Lent. What are you looking
I
for the
had not.
outcome to be?
I had not. I had not been planning on Lent as of yet because we were just in the Christmas time, and
Mhm,
the focus was on the birth, right? The
mhm,
focus was on the birth. When we talk about Lent, we're talking about, you know, um, the preparation for the sacrifice,
mhm,
right? Preparation for what was given up
mhm,
for, so I'm still practically on the gift
mhm.
because we got the gift and don't know what to do with it.
Ah, yeah.
We got the gift and don't know what to do with it. So, but yeah, it will be here before we know it. And I want, truthfully, we grew, I believe, um, last year.
Mhm,
This year, I think that growth has to be shown outside. Uh, I want to do something so that they know, everybody around that church knows that something is going on here.
mhm,
Something is happening. It's it's a different season. They're doing something different. I don't know if we got stuff outside. I don't know if we, putting signs up. I don't know. But I know that I want something to let them know that we're in a season uh, of preparation of what's coming. We're always in a season of preparation, right? Whether we're going through something or coming out of something, we're in a season of preparation. Um, and that's how life is for most people, you know. One thing to the next. And if we can relate that to everyday um activities, everyday things going on with folks, then maybe they see something different, or they have the epiphany that this is what this was all about all along. You know, so um, I know whether we um, like for instance. I've already put in for Good Friday. I want to be at the church. I want to be at the church early, and I want to be outside if I need to, throwing ashes on folks. No, listen, I want to, I want, you know, we used to live in Chicago, and people worked on Good Friday, but they would go to mass. The Catholics would
Whatever.
go to mass before they went to work, and they'd come to work, and you'd be like, "Hey, you got some dirt on your head," because we ain't know. We ain't know.
Who didn't know?
I, you
Who didn't know?
listen. I came from a Church of God in Christ. Um, and then there was some Jehovah Witness sprinkled over there, and some other Baptists over there, and they wasn't doing Ash Ash Wednesday. They
Hmm.
wasn't doing Monday, Thursday. They weren't doing that.
Yeah.
But I believe in the last, we learned some stuff. It wasn't just, oh, this is what we do. Why do we do it? No, we learned some stuff. And I believe that growth, I want to be able to be talking to people about this and why this is important. And I don't know, maybe we do some outside services this summer. I don't know. You know.
Pastor,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
the presiding elder, she's supposed to speak in the morning?
Yeah, it's just gonna be one service. Yep. She coming and she gonna be our guest speaker
Oh, you couldn't get her in the afternoon,
in the afternoon.
in the, like,
Uh, we didn't even try to set up a second one. We was just trying to get her there.
okay.
Um, it
I,
wasn't
I'm
even it wasn't even on my mind, truthfully, Sister Flamer. It wasn't. I was just trying to get her to come. Um,
reason why I asked because in the morning she
other
probably had
churches,
4 or 5 people,
Mhm.
or in the afternoon or after, we could have a little uh, dinner, and the other pastors after their service they could come, and
Mhm.
maybe
yes.
more people come. But in the morning, she's not going to get that many.
Well, that may be the case. That may be the case, but maybe we do some advertising and maybe
But people not
Reverend Jeter, maybe Reverend Jeter and how many people be in Allen? Would they fill
they
us up?
They
forget that.
they're
People
not
forget
they're
that.
not gonna leave their morning service. I can tell you.
Uh-uh.
Now, if their pastor was for some reason was preaching it, they might come, but no, they're not gonna leave the regular morning service. But
Mm.
presiding elders, I don't know if it's been a change or not, but once a year, the presiding elders would come to all of their churches and
Yep.
preach in the morning.
Right.
Yes. which is part of the reason she got the invitation, was because we did not do that last year.
Okay, because I didn't know if it's something with the church set it up or she just set it up,
No,
as to her
usually
availability. But
it
normally
depends on the elder. It depends on the elder. I remember one elder, Elder Montague. I think he used to have a schedule, or his wife used to set up a schedule.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Mrs. Montague used to set up a schedule for him to go
Mhm.
around. Um,
But there's an
but
expectation that comes with that, which is why,
yes,
and we were
yes,
remiss last
uh,
year. And
a
so,
monetary expectation.
and
Now, wait a minute. It not didn't used to be
It
when I joined Trinity back when we had Reverend Wilson was the presiding elder.
uh-huh.
Now we might when he come to preach, we might have a a little repast for him and his wife after